Hola, buenos días. Hello, welcome to a new live show here. It's Martino talking to you. We have today a special interview with a photographer from Netherlands. Tenemos una entrevista hoy con un fotógrafo de Holanda. Este es un directo que solemos hacer para hablar de varios temas que interesan a los fotógrafos de boda. Hoy concretamente vamos a hacer esta entrevista en inglés. Pero bueno, luego pondremos por debajo también la traducción. Muy bien, vamos viendo, hay algunas personas ya conectadas. Os recuerdo que podéis hacer preguntas. You can, if you want to just write some questions in the comments, we will be happy to answer to the questions. Shall we start with the introduction, and we'll be back here with our guest of today in a few seconds. Hello, we have with us today Marnix de Stigter. How are you, Marnix?
Hello, doing really well. How are you, Martino?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Of course. Yeah, looking forward to it.
You are connected from Netherlands, is that correct?
Yes, I live in Rotterdam, but I am blessed to shoot weddings, not just in Holland, but in many places. So
wonderful. Rotterdam, that's a nice city. How's the weather today in Rotterdam?
Pretty cloudy.
Cloudy, of course.
But as a result, I have a nice soft box here. Just
yeah, that's great. Of course, cloudy day, that's always good for not having too much shadows. So Marnix, it's really a pleasure to have you with us. We were like planning this interview for last week. Then I had some difficulties, but I'm very, very happy we managed to do it today.
Likewise.
Sure, and so Marnix, I'm really like curious because we always try to interview different photographers from different places. I think that's very interesting to see, especially in wedding photography, how different people are reaching this field of photography. So I would really like to know a little bit more about your story, how you started in this field, and what is that motivates you in weddings.
Yeah, it's funny. So I have a totally different background. I'm actually quite the geek. I have spent 10 years working as an engineer, optimizing factories, creating technical medical products, mostly in China. But even during my studies, I was always taking pictures. And a good friend of mine during graduation said, I really love your pictures. I'm getting married. Would you like to do my wedding reportage? I was like, yeah, let's try. And I loved it so much. I actually loved it more than my entire studies. But it's like, no. I've been studying this and I want to go to China. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's for 10 years straight. I just worked as an engineer. And every year I would get one call from a person. It's like, okay, we're getting married. Would you like to do my wedding reportage?
Wow.
And I was like, there's going to be one day that I'm going to switch. And with a small period in between, where after 10 years working as an engineer, I had tagged off all the boxes that life tells you, then you're successful, then you're happy. I walked past the mirror and I realized, okay, I've tagged off all these boxes, but I look pissed off. I'm not happy. And a year in shoot, which was pretty crazy, where I literally did nothing. I simply sat in the park, walked around until I became comfortable with not having to do something all the time. I did a 10-day Vipassana retreat, which is a meditation retreat. It's completely silent. 10 hours per day meditation, 10 days, so 100 hours of meditation in 10 days. And I could hear my own voice saying the entire time, you should go home, meditate for 2 hours and work for 10 hours, then at least you'll get something done. And there was this like split in my psyche that saw my own thoughts and was like, this is completely dysfunctional. And it's not just my voice, but the voice of the entire society, because you're supposed to say to each other, like, yeah, I'm busy, I'm working, you know? And if you say like, I'm not doing anything, then you're like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, what's wrong?
So actually, I realized I need to tackle this problem. I need to be okay with not doing anything. Otherwise, I'm like a slave to these thoughts for the rest of my life. And so literally, I continued my meditation here at home, sitting on the couch with my phone just out of hand's reach. And every time I felt the need to grab for my phone to get a dopamine hit, I would feel like, what am I trying not to feel? What is kind of an unease in me that's looking for a distraction? And I live next to the park, and I just continued on doing the same thing in the park. And it actually, for 1 year straight, I did nothing apart from just becoming relaxed and being okay with not doing anything, just simply being. I'm a human being, not a human doing.
That's very interesting, amazing story, Marnix. Really, so.
And at the end of that year, I decided, no, I want to dive back into the world. I'm going to do full-time wedding photography. So, and then it exploded. It just went really fast, and that's now 6 years ago. So 16 years ago, the first wedding during my graduation. 10 years, just one wedding per year. And the last 6 years, I've been doing it full time.
Wow, that's really an incredible story, Marnix. So you changed completely your work, coming from being an engineer, and you had like already met wedding photography somehow, but you waited like 10 years until you really realized this was like your mission somehow, or something that really fulfills you in a way.
Yeah, definitely. So my background as an engineer, I did industrial design engineering, which is creative and technical, which I really loved. But wedding photography is creative, technical, and combining it with humans, social parts. And I miss that last part so much in my daily life as an engineer. So this is the most beautiful combination, to be able to dive into the lives of two families coming together and celebrating love. And I'm just doing my hobby, but I take it very seriously. But yeah, there's nothing more beautiful than being able to do this.
Absolutely, Marnix. That's amazing how you tell your story, because I think some other photographers really feel this importance in wedding photography, to have a contact with people, and that's sometimes something that motivates them. But having had such a complete change and also this journey you had, and also needing to take the time and meditate during 10 days, that sounds absolutely amazing. So congratulations.
A bit crazy, but yeah.
I would like Marnix to take a look to some of your pictures for people who are maybe just connecting now and maybe don't know, because I have some strange sensation. I'm organizing this association, which is Fotógrafo de Bodas, which you are part of, and thank you for being part of this association, for sharing your vision, which is really interesting. And I always have the feeling that sometimes I can somehow know something about the photographer just seeing the images. And in your case, this is particularly true. I have some pictures I would like to see with you, and maybe we can spend some words on them.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I think your photography is really interesting, not only by the colors, by the feeling, like in this image we have of people having fun, but there are some pictures which have caught my attention. Well, this is one of them. This picture had an award. I really like this elegance of those figures. The composition, I think, is quite important. How much important in your photography is, for example, composition, color? What drives you and seeing?
Yeah. So I'm always focused on a couple of things. I have this probably a little bit compulsive thing where I like to have things pretty straight, or chaos, but not in between. In between looks like it wasn't planned, or it wasn't perfectly done. So either there's chaos or it's perfect, straight. And I love colors and I love real emotions. So for me, it's so important that the wedding couple and everyone just do their own thing, and it's almost like a dance to be close in the moment and capture whatever is happening, but at the same time be almost invisible. So also for this image, I'm like really close to the lady with doing the makeup in the forefront, and I have I have 3 flashes here to compensate for the background, to make sure that the lights from outside aren't blowing out the scene. So that's where my technical side also comes in, to be able to really fast change all the flashes in a way that I'm able to light everything perfectly.
You use always flash in your work?
Only if needed, but sometimes there might be enough light, but the light isn't beautiful. And I can just add in a little tweak to make sure that the attention is drawn to the right spot. So just the wedding couple, just add a little bit of flash that the eye of the viewer directly flows to the wedding couple, or the most important element in the picture.
Wonderful, Marnix. Thank you very much. It's really interesting. I want to keep on taking a look to your photos, but like a little bit slowly. I would also like to ask you, in Netherlands, how is wedding photography industry working? Are wedding photographers well recognized for their work, or typically couples do not dedicate a lot of time and searching their photographer?
Actually, I think we're quite blessed in the Netherlands. We have a quite high standard with quite good, also in Belgium, quite good wedding photographers. And over the years, it's become better, that people really appreciate the work that a wedding photographer does. It's become much more like you have to almost be a jack of all trades. I mean, you're doing documentary, you're doing posing, here landscape photography, if you're doing like a big landscape with a wedding couple, that's sometimes a drone. So it's a very wide array of skills that you need to have as a wedding photographer. And maybe 15 years ago, it was like, oh my God, that's like the most boring thing ever. Like putting 2 people on a bridge and holding hands and taking a picture. Well, nowadays it's far more focused on reportage and making those images that really stand out. And I guess in that sense, I really started at the right moment, because those 10 years I did 1 wedding per year. My quality was like still like the first wedding and the last wedding wasn't all that different. But then when I started doing it full time and really dove into learning from the best of the world, it really exploded. And I have a certain distinct style of very bold colors, true emotions, and I like to encompass the richness, the fullness of life. That's what I want to portray in my images. And I'm blessed that people either they love my style or they hate it, but if they hate it, they don't contact me. So
That's good. That's good. You have to have a distinct style, absolutely. I'm so happy to hear in Netherlands wedding photography really growing. We had the luck to meet a colleague of yours, also from Netherlands. She has been photographer of the year in 2021. And of course, also she was telling this, that you are telling us that in Netherlands there is quite a good number of couples who really value their wedding photography. I would like to ask you, Marnix, you were telling it just a moment ago, the importance of diving into wedding photography, creating a style. So during the 10 years you just shot a wedding for a year, that was not so easy, that was not really possible to evolve. Who are the photographers who inspire you inside wedding photographer? If there are some of them, I mean, some wedding photographers who did inspire you and from which you maybe learned something.
One really stands out. I'll start with one who's also very important. Isabella Hutting is a Dutch wedding photographer who used to be Fearless Wedding Photographer of the Year, I think 2018. I don't know, something along those lines. And she lives actually quite near by my place. And she inspired me really to go dive into really reportage, beautiful images, and how to get the beautiful story outside of the chaos, inside of the chaos. But the other person which really accelerated my work tremendously was your fellow countryman, Victor Lux. I have, it's now, I think, 4.5 years ago, he was at a conference in the Netherlands, and I had a really good rapport with him. And I ended up doing 1 week one-on-one in Zaragoza with him. And he really drilled me. And it was like, you have this term called learn by osmosis, which is learning by being in someone's presence and just feeling and understanding how he or she works. And spending that week with him, and then doing a photo shoot with a wedding couple and shooting a wedding alongside him, it just opened up my mind completely. It was like the Matrix. Afterwards, I was in weddings and everything went slower, and I saw everything, and it just like exploded ever since.
Great. So really, yes, the importance of also learning from other photographers is really interesting in this field. How would you suggest maybe to some young photographers who are starting in this field, should they dedicate to learn? Which would be the better way, in your opinion, for somebody who is starting, maybe following some workshops or meeting some photographers who they like?
Yeah, so what is really important in order to learn fast is I've had this talk with many other wedding photographers who also give workshops just like me, and also including Victor, and it's like, what is it that some people go to workshop after workshop after workshop, but their quality doesn't seem to increase over time? And some people, they go to one workshop and it just explodes. What is that? And we kind of got to thinking, and it's like, well, our conclusion was that most people shooting a wedding are in a fight or flight mode. They're like chasing the moment and scared and a bit afraid, or like nervous. And when you're in that state, like the creative brain is just completely shut off. So in a workshop, you're relaxed and you see all these things and you're like, oh my God, I'm inspired, blah, blah, blah. But then at a wedding, they're back into the automatic mode of like almost in a
fear.
Yeah. So the most important thing in order to really grow fast is to become aware of your own emotions during a wedding, to be able to learn how to be relaxed amidst of the chaos. And also an important thing is that your emotions have a tremendous effect on the wedding couple. So when you are nervous, they, of course, are already nervous because it's their wedding day, and they'll only get even more nervous. So if you're doing a photo shoot with a wedding couple and you're like, I don't know, maybe we should go there or there, they lose all faith in you.
Absolutely.
So even if I don't know if I need to go left or right for a great picture, I'll just say convincingly, yeah, we go to the right because that is really good. And then I'm like, okay, fine. So
Yeah.
your emotions are key in order to create good images, especially during the photo shoot. But during the day also, it's when you become nervous, your creative brain just switches off. So to be very relaxed amidst chaos is so important, because then you're going to see things, details. And I often have, at the end of a wedding day, I come home and I upload all my images, and I sometimes go fast, and I was like, wow, I can remember I was there, but I wasn't so focused on shooting that image. It just goes in one beautiful flow because there's relaxedness there. That's crucial. So for taking a workshop, I highly recommend it. But even more important, before you go into those workshops, you're able to, like, are you aware of your own nerves, of your own emotional states during these hectic moments? And then find someone that inspires you, that has a unique style or something you really can learn from. You can do one-on-ones. I also do quite often just a gallery review. So people send me a link for a gallery, and then I have a video, 20 minutes, where I show, like, oh, if you do it like this, or if you shot it a little bit from that angle, then you can block this. These things can really help tremendously. Yeah, so I highly recommend just seeking out wedding photographers that inspire you, that are really already few levels above where you're currently at, because it can help you accelerate your path so fast.
Absolutely. Yes, I agree. What you were telling before, it's really, you told it very, very well, the importance of being relaxed and in connection, and how weddings sometimes amplify every emotion. No, so the importance of showing to the couple your own tranquility, and in a way, somehow it's the law of the mirror, which also in life, especially, can occur, but during weddings, maybe it's also amplified, as you told before. So that's really interesting. And of course, the importance of growing and also being inspired from other photographers is something in our association, in our community, we always feel very much. So as you told, sometimes you find the right person who can guide you, but also some other times is always interesting also to connect with other photographers, listen what they maybe are doing, and other things like this. In this sense, I would like Marnix just to make a short pause in our transmission, just to announce we are doing a meeting in Vitoria, which is in the north of Spain. This will be in a couple of months. So I invite you, if maybe you would like to come, that would be great. And if you don't mind, I'll just put a very short video announcing this event we have organized for the 20th of November. There will be with us 3 photographers from Spain, and well, that's going to be a nice occasion just to meet and to learn together. Let's take a look at it. And this was Conectando Victoria. That's a special meeting. We are looking forward. And
Looks good.
We are really looking forward to it. There's going to be Marc Prades, Fran Ortiz, who is a photographer of the year, and also Jorge Elisburgo. That's the north of Spain, which is also different from the south. Spain is a very big nation, and so we have different kind of weddings, and it's very interesting to see let's say those different ways in which photographers are talking and documenting this day. I'd like to come back to your pictures, Marnix, and maybe go on and take a look to some of your photos. We have been doing this just a few moments ago. I was looking to those very nice pictures you are taking, filled with colors, lines, composition. Many of them have received an award, so congratulations. Really, that's an amazing work. I can see in your photography always a great attention to also the editing. I see you're doing is very meticulous, complete. I think maybe this comes from your part of technical person. This is the picture that blew me out completely, and I thought this could be really the title of this interview. Please tell us the story. How did you manage to bring a bride and groom in front of this dinosaur?
T-Rex, yeah. No. So we are lucky in Holland that we have a museum with a T-Rex. This actually is during a really busy Saturday. There's kids running around. There's people running around. But that's the great thing if you know how to work with lights. So our eyes are able to see actually dark parts and light parts, and our brain makes a composite out of it. But the camera can only use one aperture, one shutter speed, and one ISO setting at the same time. So if you expose for the highlights, things that are for our eyes gray become completely black. So if I add a flash and place the couple at a nice spot where it kind of fits the entire scene, amidst of chaos, you can shoot these images. And of course, I shot like 30 images because then there was someone walking by or a kid running around. At the same time, it's very important. I always keep on talking to the wedding couple, because if you put them in a pose like this for 3 minutes, it's just going to get awkward. So I tell really bad jokes, and sometimes I have to scream it because there's chaos. Or I ask a friend who's joining to help put the dress down or hold the lights to do something, and that creates a reaction in the wedding couple. So
to keep it real.
Yeah, somehow. Yeah. It's very important to have, okay, so I have the composition right, I have the lighting right, and now it's the moment. And if you just have a wedding couple standing there for 3 minutes, the moment's gone. So small things, how the hands are going, how the noses are almost touching, these kind of things really help.
That's amazing, Marnix. Really well. You obtained the result as you were telling before. It looks like there's nobody. I was like asking, how did he do this? I mean, we all photographers know what you told, but then putting it in practice, and also in a museum, which I imagine, I don't know if you had to ask some special permission to do it or just was fine.
Yeah, we had to ask permission, but they said you can't restrict people. You said you can take pictures, but just make sure there's no one else in the picture.
You cannot close the museum, of course. Amazing. There's another one. Let's see if we can see it. This is another one that's really
same couple.
Mind-blowing, because something so different from weddings. And I think this is also the point, sometimes managing to bring wedding photographers to new places, no? Because we all have in mind the classic photos in wedding photography, which I think the majority of photographers in weddings, at least in our community, well, we don't like them so much. Maybe
a bit boring.
How can we evolve? No, and never better said than in this case. Evolution is quite clear. So congratulations. And is this the same couple? Yeah. Of course. So crazy. And I mean, you really have to also convince the couple this is going to come out interesting, because not everybody can see. So maybe a part of your work sometimes is also to talk to the couple and make them feel the same emotion that you're feeling about the images.
Yeah, so during day, I say 95% of the day is in a reportage I shoot. So ignore me completely. That'll result in the most beautiful images, and often people really don't notice I'm there. And at the end of the day, the wedding couple say, Marnix, we know you made beautiful images, but were you there at that one moment? And it's like, on Monday, you're going to get a preview, and I'll show one image at that exact moment. And then usually they text me back like, you were standing next to us. We were totally not aware. But during the photo shoot, I have to be there to portray my enthusiasm. Because it's just awkward just standing there in your wedding clothes and people all around in a museum, you know? So I have to like, oh my God, it's going to be beautiful. Like this, like a little bit more your shoulder, like this, like, okay, this super, oh, wait. Yeah, we got it. So these kind of, their enthusiasm is spiked because of my enthusiasm, and that creates the real moments.
Absolutely. I understand. Very well said. Martin, we have to be also somehow a little bit like actors as photographers, no? Where you're talking situation, some nerves, some tension. So create this enthusiasm and transmit it to the couple. I would like to ask you, who is your ideal client, if there is any? Who is the ideal couple? Do they have something special? Did you ever think about this, if they are like you or not necessarily?
No, it doesn't have to be like me, but I have to like them. So it's important for me to work with those couples who just completely trust for me to do whatever to make their wedding day, to cover their wedding day in the most beautiful way. So trust is the most important thing. And I'm blessed to say that mostly I just get these wedding couples who often they already have children because they're a little bit older. I'm not the cheapest wedding photographer. So it's usually after a few years and both of them working that they've kind of set a little family, and it's like, okay, we want to celebrate our love. I only like have maybe 3 weddings per year where it's really young couples. But for me, somewhere between 30 and 40 is the vast majority of wedding couples. And often they have 1 or 2 children already. So I think maybe in 3/4 of all the weddings I shoot, there's young kids running around, which I absolutely love. Chaos, they do their own thing, you know. Mm-hmm. And young parents always know, like, you can't control everything. That's just not how life works anymore when you have children. So they're more relaxed and they go more with the flow. And I so often get that the wedding couples say, Marnix, you know, we trust you completely. Just do whatever you do because we just love your work. So there's very little of, okay, I want exactly this or I want this. I don't work really well in that way. I never visit the location beforehand. Maybe I look at a few images on Google if I've never been there, but I like to be open and new and just go in there and allow for the inspiration to come and not be with fixed ideas of it has to be like this, has to be like that. That results in the best images. And I think this kind of approach to life and to weddings results in wedding couples who kind of have a similar view on life.
Yes, absolutely. Marnix, about your weddings, you are telling us you are also shooting all around the world. What would be in those latest years? How many weddings you usually shoot? Maybe in Rotterdam, if there are any. How many weddings do you shoot in Holland? How many in Europe? And maybe have you been also outside Europe in those last? I know maybe since 2020 things have maybe changed a little bit after COVID. I don't know if this affected your way of working.
So this year I shot 23 weddings, or I'm shooting. I still have a few left. Last year it will be maximum 18. I shoot usually large weddings, so 10 hours is minimum, but my exclusive package is from beginning to end, literally up to a 20-hour workday. So I often have weddings 18, 19 hours of shooting.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. So it's like running a marathon.
Absolutely.
And the day before and after, I always keep my agenda clear, because I don't want 2 weddings back to back. I just want to be completely focused on that wedding day. So the vast majority is in the Netherlands. I usually shoot about 2 per year abroad. And I am blessed to have like exotic locations. I met a wedding couple one time sitting in the train. We got to talking and they was like, oh, cool, we're getting married. Yeah, it's going to be either in Utrecht, which is a few kilometers away, or in Rio de Janeiro, because she's from Rio. So it ended up being Rio.
Little difference.
A little difference. And then last year in December, I shot a wedding of all places in Senegal, which was crazy, beautiful. I think I won a story award on that one. I think.
Let's go and see it. I really hope there is a story on this. It's going to be very interesting. Let's see. I would like to see with you the stories.
Yeah, the second one. So the first one is Rio, and the second one is Senegal.
Oh, wonderful. Let's go and see Senegal. So you can tell us a little bit more. We start with this picture, absolutely almost abstract.
Yeah. And it really set the vibe for me for the story. I think it's always very difficult to have like a short amount of images to tell the entire story, because there's so much going on. But this kind of says like, oh, okay, this is how the day, or actually the weekend, started, sitting in a pool in the sun.
Wow, good start. And here we are in Senegal.
Yeah, so the bride is on the left, and her little nieces are there, and that beautiful sun. And then slowly this is the day before, so they went on safari. I think that's the next image.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh no, so they had I skipped the safari because I couldn't fit everything in the 20 images, but this was their welcome dinner at night
with a baobab.
Yeah, the baobab tree was crazy. This was I always shoot behind the scene, because this was pitch dark. And on the tables, they had like 2 candles per table. You couldn't see your food. But I was running around with 4 flashes just to make sure that everything is like lit well. So it was kind of chaos, but I'm glad I was able to do it. So they had African dances at the beginning.
Amazing.
So I'm running around, so 2 flashes to make sure that they are covered well, one from the back, one from the front, and then and
this really has nothing to spare with wedding photography. If we just see this image, could be perfectly an image about dance, about I don't know, maybe different cultures. But there's nothing about weddings. So really, we must think out of the wedding box.
Yeah.
Look at that, amazing.
And this was the wedding day itself. So she's hanging up her dress near the house with the pool, and her mom is getting prepped with the hair and makeup. And then he was at his own lodge. I love working with harsh shadows. Like the Spanish sun. Also, when I went to Victor Lux, he taught me how to work with hard lights, and now I just love it.
Yeah, you just erase all the parts of the images which are not so bright. Like in this case, that's very minimalistic approach to introduce us the groom. Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So as it goes, the groom men are just relaxing and drinking champagne, and the women are like busy getting ready.
Yeah, that's typical. Very nice color. Very nice. Also very minimalistic approach.
So I love colorful weddings. So all the dresses hanging there. Sometimes I'm not too much into details like this, but I thought it was fitting how beautiful all the dresses were hanging there. If I shoot details, it's mostly like details of the hand or maybe a mouth or how light falls, these kind of things. But sometimes this works well also.
Beautiful. Here they are.
And
Now.
this is what I love, like chaos, all the different stories in one shot, making sure that all the heads are not touching each other or nothing sticking out of their heads too much. That's
awesome. Yeah. Also, we see the same colors. So in the narration, in the story you are telling us with those 20 pictures, we just saw in the photo before the same colors. So that's very interesting.
Of course, some zooming in for a story like this, you need to step back and go close, step back and go close to tell the entire story. So emotional moments of mom always work well. And then heading to the ceremony where the groom is waiting with dad.
Very
and
nice.
Then
arriving the bride, and here they are together.
And I love, you can just have someone speaking and the wedding couple, but it's nice to have like something in front to tell the story. And just a person speaking, that's one thing. But if you have these leaves in front, it creates such a, you're zoomed into the shadow working on her face. It's beautiful.
Yeah, very, very nice bouquet here. And this lady, what a character. And look at the little girls here. So sweet. And this is the moment of maybe the rings?
Yes.
Here it is. Also now those important moments can be told in such different ways, like in this case, focusing a bit more on the public.
Yeah, I find the kiss always like, okay, one shot of the kiss and then I want the reaction of the parents and the friends.
All right, beautiful image now coming out in the climax. These are the pictures, really the moments that sometimes we think that they must be, that we cannot fail this image, So sometimes we have a little bit of pressure, but very well solved in this case. You just have the possibility to see their eyes, which is important.
Yeah, so that's just a lot of pictures, and then I hope one is good.
Yeah, we need luck also.
Yeah.
All right, nice silhouette here of the guests.
Yeah.
The sun must have been quite hot.
Yeah, so you shoot at your maximum shutter speed, and then you still can't shoot wide open because it's just too much light.
Yeah, maybe you should think about a ND filter.
Yeah.
If you go there. That doesn't happen so often in Holland.
No, definitely not.
This is a nice one of the party starting. And here we have the dance. Very, very well taught. Very nice story. Very well deserved this story award. And Marnix,
thank you.
Congratulations. What do you think about the awards? I really want to thank you. The other day we have been talking, you just suggested me something about the way we can organize the ranking, which is something we are working on. Absolutely, I agree with what you told me about considering, of course, the points of the wedding story. I would like to ask you about competitions, about awards. What do you think about them? Do you think they can help photographers to evolve? How a photographer should maybe face those awards? I know you have been awarded in many different communities, so you have quite an experience in this.
Yeah, so I love these kind of awards. And when I found out about Fotógrafo de Bodas, then I love that you're not allowed to have other that the images can't have been awarded before. So it really makes sure that the level is high.
This is interesting. We never talked a lot about this, and some people do not understand completely this rule about a picture should not have won an important award maybe 1 year before or 2 years before. We introduced this rule especially because we were maybe afraid that judges could already know the picture, because if the picture is won an important award, maybe but maybe it's not just this.
Yeah, so I understand because I've been a judge a number of times on wedding photography awards, and sometimes you just recognize an image because it's already won 3 other awards and you know the photographer. So this makes sure that the level is the playing field is a little bit more even. And the reason why I still participate in awards is twofold. One, it helps for my marketing, and 2, it really helps me to make sure that I get to a next level and push myself and compare myself to the best of the world and to be inspired by their images. And I often feel like before a wedding season starts, like, I'd like to incorporate a bit more of what that photographer does. And I find myself shooting images like, oh, wow. Like I look at the image like, oh, no. Yeah, I see I was inspired by him or her. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yes, really, we are so blessed to have so many great photographers participating. We are really proud, especially about the judges, which help us. I mean, the judges are the persons who really do the work, the hard work of the judging. And it's interesting to see, as you were telling before, it's always, I think, a field in which it's important to have connection with other photographers, so you can be inspired, which does not mean you are copying at all, but maybe you find something interesting in the picture of another photographer and you try to do it yourself, but with your language, with your way of doing things. So we have been seeing so many photographers who have been participating in the awards and have been growing, and nowadays maybe they do an amazing work, which is very, very special. But they told us that the awards also, when maybe they do not win, that it's also always a lesson. Maybe
Definitely.
you know, there's a picture you think that's, oh, this is awesome, and then you just maybe try it in some awards and maybe it was not so awesome, or maybe they did not see it. So it's always an occasion to evolve. Marnix, we're already reaching the almost the end of this interview. I again want to thank you because it's really very, very interesting. There are so many other pictures I would like to talk with you, but there is something I would not want to forget. So I'm going to ask it to you before maybe we just take a look to the pictures. I know you told before you are very close with like also meditation. You told us you did a period of 10 days of meditation. Well, I have been looking in your Facebook, or more precisely my wife, she found out something in your Facebook timeline, which was very curious, that you met this crazy Dutch person called Wim Hof. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And
he's so also known as the Iceman.
The Iceman, yeah. I also saw some videos of him and really looks to me so impressive. I don't know if you want to share something about your experience.
Sure. Yeah. So Wim Hof, he's a, like you said, a crazy Dutchman who does incredible feats, which almost are superhuman. So walking bare feet above the pole circle, a marathon, just in shorts. He climbed Mount Everest just with his bare feet and shorts. And he doesn't get hypothermia. He just stays warm. He does ice baths, and he's taught many people all over the world. And I also trained with him and spent one day with him and made a video. And I've done a lot of ice baths, up to 20 minutes in ice. And then it's like
so extreme. Is it not painful?
Yeah, of course. No, but
How
the interesting
is it?
thing is, and this actually relates to wedding photography in a weird way, but
Wow.
when the only way to survive an ice bath, if you're doing it for 2 minutes, you can use your willpower. It's like, we're gonna fight this, and I'm gonna, and then you just count it out, and then after 120 seconds you get out. But you can't do that if you're 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes in, because you just tire yourself out, and you would faint if you're like this. So the only way to survive an ice bath is to relax into it, to let go of the story that says this is bad, to simply be with the feelings. And yes, the feelings are of almost needles sticking in your body, all over your body. So, but can you become comfortable with the discomfort?
Yeah.
So actually,
That makes
the
sense.
biggest problem we have, and also in weddings, when you're stressed and we are like, oh my God, my camera isn't working, I have to switch or whatever things, the biggest problem is the story on top of the situation. The situation is, okay, my camera is broken, I need to fix it. Grab my other camera, step back because I have a more telelens, and capture the image. But the real suffering is the story on top. This shouldn't be happening. Why is this happening? Oh my God, I'm the worst wedding photographer ever. What are the wedding couple going to say? Like this. Now the story can still be there, but when you do these kind of trainings like ice baths or even cold shower, or you just become more and more aware of your own thoughts, you can kind of distance yourself from them and not get caught in the story. And these ice baths are like, you just simply are with the discomfort, and you can become comfortable with discomfort being there. And if you're able to do that, then a wedding is easy.
Of course, yeah. If you can survive in such difficult situation, it's very, very interesting. Marnix, thank you so much for sharing with us. So interesting, really, the way you are telling about the way our mind sometimes tricks us, and how really reality, after all, is our perception of reality. And so how we can change our reality by changing our thoughts. And relating to wedding, that's amazing and really a great insight, because you are right. And also I think I meet a lot of photographers who maybe are starting and who are really suffering about worrying about what can happen. Maybe they worry before it happens, maybe it does not happen. And what happens if I lose my gear? And what happens if my battery is not charged? And what happens if the bride, instead of coming out from the left, comes out from the right? So there's like preoccupation, like worrying about something that is
Might
not
or might
happening.
not
Maybe
happen.
just worrying for the future or worrying for the past, and not being present in the moment and the actual now, which I think it's very important in a wedding. Always be present. So I don't know.
The fun thing for our mind is that our mind isn't focused on making us happy. It is focused on survival, and it's been doing a great job for a couple of 100,000 years to make sure that our species survived. But now we're living in an age where we're not in imminent threat all the time of our physical survival, but that pattern is still going on. And it's not so much that physical survival, but like a psychological survival. This is the way how the world is, and this is how I am. But it's a simplified version that the mind has, and it never matches up to reality. So the mind is always like looking out for, oh, okay, how am I appearing? How is
Danger.
the
Where is
world?
the danger?
Danger, danger, danger. But just simply becoming aware that that is simply the pattern that's going on, and you don't have to follow it. You can just allow it to be. And it's almost like sometimes like a nagging child, like, I want a candy, I want a candy. It's like, yeah, you're not getting candy. Fine.
Very, very, very interesting, Marnix. I absolutely agree with this. And thank you very much for sharing with us. We have just a few minutes spare. I would like to finish this interview within 1 hour. So I have here maybe your images. If you would like, we can
Sure,
maybe
we'll go really fast through them.
Because coming back to the awards, we are very happy about this new way. I mean, to try to also not only give awards to single images, but like in this case, to a story, which is quite much more complicated. but also more interesting.
Yeah. So this was Rio de Janeiro. This was the couple I met in a train.
The couple met in a train. This is like a story for a movie.
Yeah. And you can click.
Where are they from? They're from Holland.
Yeah, they're from Holland, but she's originally from nearby Rio.
All right.
And I just love capturing the preparations with the girls. It can be like an hour and a half, just all the chaos, all things going on. Really, the atmosphere is like becoming more and more tense. Like, oh, it's coming up, the big moment.
Yeah.
And combining flash every once in a while. So this is just in the reflection of the window. She's sitting inside, I'm standing outside, and the sun is exactly above her head. So it almost looks like a angelic picture. I love doing these kind of things.
So you went there to Rio de Janeiro. You stayed like some time with them, or was just for the wedding?
Yeah, the wedding. But then I'm blessed that it was at the end of the wedding season, so I just spent a week and a half extra, and the same was in Senegal. And now I'm fortunate to go in December to Bali, so I'm doing the same.
Great, Bali, wonderful. We got a friend there. So, well, this is really like a reward for a great work done. No, the possibility also to travel. It feels like a reward, no, for the hard work. Amazing. There's a very nice picture now telling us about the dress of the bride.
And then I love these kind of things, just making they're not aware that it's, and I'm like a small child. Like
very, very nice, very well organized, your composition with those two comics on the background, and also there's a little picture here, so it's very interesting. This is there.
Yeah, nice. So you can just have this moment, but I can also hang semi outside the window and have the reflection of the surroundings. So then you have two stories in one. It's clear that it's not just the living room, which can be anywhere, but definitely inside
the outside world is coming inside. Yeah, very, very nice use of the reflections. This is the
his
groom.
Sister bringing him to the aisle, and then
beautiful, beautiful venue with so much trees and nature. This is the glaze of the bride, and don't know if it's the father or friend.
Yeah, but the father. Yeah. So she's always telling me still after many years now. This was 2019. Like how happy she is with this image, because it's really how lovingly her father can look at her husband. So
wonderful. Yeah, it's a great responsibility, for wedding photographers sometimes to take pictures like this, which company during so many years, friends reading, or maybe family. Also very nice. Oh, lovely, this smile, so nice, and absolutely, maybe she has something about the wedding in her hand, I suppose.
Yeah, her vows, she just read. So
nice hand, wonderful colors. You have many images about the ceremony in this story.
Yeah, because they didn't meet beforehand. They met each other at the ceremony, and then I have a small photo shoot afterwards, because I don't want to take them away too much from their couples.
Look at that. This is very nice. So short time, you have to act quickly.
Yeah, and I love it that way. That results in the best images for me.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Wonderful location. That helps, but that's definitely not enough on their own. A good story needs also motion, like this one. And wonderful.
Thank you.
Oh, look at this. Also the colors you have chosen in the story, I feel they have been selected. This is the last one. Yeah. Well, Marnix, what can I say? Congratulations. We could still go on this. Oh, I lost my.
Yeah, your video is gone.
I have to change my video, but you can still hear me. So congratulations, really. We are so happy and proud to have you in our community and to being able to promote your stories. Let me see if I can come back just to say bye-bye to everybody. I don't know if you want to maybe add something we have not talked about, or maybe something you have in planning for the future. Okay, here I am.
There you are.
Another
Nice.
camera.
No, I really love participating in these awards, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. Please follow me on Instagram. I also share a lot of behind the scenes at weddings. I just show with my camera where all the flashes are placed and how I edit my images. So I think it's fun to share these kind of things with the community.
Absolutely. What's your Instagram, if you want?
Yeah,
to share?
it's the one in the screen. So Marnix
in the name, no?
Stigter photography. Yeah, with the underscores.
Okay,
there.
so everybody go and search it on Instagram, because it's really interesting to see behind the scenes how Marnix works. I hope we have the occasion to see us in person sometimes, Marnix.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Nice.
If you come to Spain, let us know. It would be very interesting if we can organize something. If you need help in a wedding or whatever, you can count in our community. And
thank you.
Again, thank you very much for sharing with us, for being with us today in this interview.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye to everybody. See you soon. Be happy.